Oh, I like this a lot, y'all. Yeah. Tune y'all asses in. We gotta talk about this because I like it a lot. Why? Because it's Bud Crawford versus Errol Spence all over again. And will Errol Spence take another loss to Bud Crawford without ever stepping in the ring? Why? Because it's the battle of the proteges. Shakur Stevenson with Bud Crawford and Frank Martin under Errol Spence. Listen, a lot of the same fans who are fans of Bud Crawford and the same fans who are fans of Errol Spence both like their proteges. And there's only a few guys I spoke to who are Bud fans but don't like Shakur and somehow are picking Frank Martin to win this fight. And not a lot of people I've talked to that are Spence fans who don't like Frank Martin and is picking Shakur Stevenson to beat Frank Martin. Oh, we got to talk about this shit. What up, YouTube? Big T.O. Heavy Bag Boxing TV, man. Get your goof ass in here. Hit the bag. Hit that like button for your boy. That helps the channel. Shout out my gang, man. D1, Merc 1, ML21, Skinny JT, Black Jesus. Can't forget my guy, Troy Jack, Keywan, Rebel Life, Martin King, Letitia, YK World, my boy, Tyrese Celestin. Oh, shout out Tyrese Celestin, man. He got with me on Instagram with the shout out video. I got you on the intro, my guy. I appreciate that love. All right, man, this is interesting, man. Listen, this is Protégé versus Protégé. All right. Oh, yeah, I like that. Protégé versus Protégé. You know what I mean? Frank Martin has put in a lot of man hours training with Errol Spence. You know what I'm saying? Picking up what Errol Spence could drop down and give him. You know what I mean? Picking up those jewels of the game from Errol Spence if he was offering any. And the same thing goes for Shakur Stevenson. A lot of man hours with Bud Crawford, training with Bud Crawford, sparring with Bud Crawford, picking up those jewels that Bud could have potentially be putting down, right? How does that transpire into the fight world? Who will win this particular fight? Now, for those of you who don't know, Devin Haney has been named champion in recess. They caught wind of him, of course, wanting to move up to see a Regis program, which, in fact, that fight is still not yet done. But they're saying, I guess once it is, he'll be dropping that WBC scrap. He'll no longer be undisputed. And this fight between Shakur Stevenson and Frank Martin will, in fact, be for the WBC strap, right? And what I love about Haney, and I don't care what y'all say about Haney, he's not talking about that damn franchise belt. I'm glad that damn he put that shit to bed. Like, I know there's a lot of people who don't like Devin Haney. And I get it, you know, you don't like him. And I think a lot of that has to do with his pops and the fact that he don't get a lot of knockouts. I get it, you know. I like the kid. I think he's taking advantage of every opportunity given to him to the best of his ability. And it is what it is. You know, he's got a great jab. At the end of the day, he's a kid moving how he as a boss at the end of the day. And, you know, it's just hard for me to be mad at him about anything. But what I do love is the fact that he has never really truly acknowledged that bullshit franchise belt. And for that, I gotta salute that boy 3 times for putting that bullshit to bed. That duck belt. So no longer undisputed. Once this transpire, Shakur Stevenson, Frank Martin more than likely would be fighting for the WBC scrap. Or in fact would be fighting for the WB scrap. So the WBC has ordered this fight, right? And it appears that they have until September the 5th to get a deal in place and get this fight done, or it will go to the purse bid, right? And so, listen, man, I like this fight. Oh, I like this because this answers a lot of questions. But first of all, the selling point of this fight. I do believe that because these guys are considered by a lot of people, and not necessarily the case, but considered by a lot of people, the proteges of Errol Spence and Bud Crawford, which makes it just that much more interesting. I think it gives it a huge selling point, right? I think it could very well be considered another L for Errol Spence if Frank Martin loses to Shakur Stevenson, right? It's almost like a battle of the camps, and I spoke on this in a previous video. It's really a battle of the camps, right? Which camp is better? And that's just always exciting, man. I think that brings an extremely exciting element to this fight. Now, who you got? Who you got? And I know, again, Errol Spence fans are probably leaning towards Frank Martin, but Crawford fans are probably leaning towards Shakur Stevenson. Only one of these guys, so in my opinion, only one of these guys know what it feels like and what it's like to actually be a champion, and that's the 2-weight division champion, and Shakur Stevenson, who has been a champion at 126 and 130. I think he has that experience advantage for sure over Frank Martin. But I do believe Frank Martin's a dog, but it's hard for me to see Frank Martin outthinking Shakur Stevenson. But I would have to probably lean Frank Martin's way in the power department. I do think Frank Martin has enough power to hurt Shakur Stevenson. Now listen, 20-0 with 10 KOs, I don't think that says that really paints the picture about the power of Shakur Stevenson. Especially when he got you figured out. I think he can hurt Frank Martin. And plus, Shakur's a little bigger than what you really think he is. And he's going to definitely have the height and reach advantage in this particular fight. Man, I ain't even going to be on the fence with this one, man. I would have to lean. And this is just, it's not anything biased about a Bud Crawford or Errol Spence, or is it because I picked Bud Crawford to beat Errol Spence? This is totally based on the experience of a Shakur Stevenson for me, and the fact that it's hard to see anybody out thinking Shakur Stevenson. For my casuals in here who have yet to see Shakur Stevenson fight, this is somebody you really, really got to pay attention to. This kid his IQ is through the roof. And I think Frank Martin may get extremely frustrated in this fight once he understands or he realizes that Shakur Stevenson is an extremely tough task. Defensively, he's ridiculous. I think Shakur Stevenson might be the least hit fighter in the game, right? The defense is crazy, and he's a pest with the jab. It's just a great arsenal, defensively and offensively from Shakur Stevenson. And I think Frank Martin probably finds out the hard way. You guys let me know what you think in the comment section, man. I wouldn't have to take Shakur Stevenson in this fight, but just the elements of this fight makes it a really, really must-watch fight. So if you follow the channel, man, if you rock with me, you definitely got to keep your eye on this one. This is the battle of the camp. This is the battle of the proteges. This is actually Errol Spence versus Bud Crawford again. Can Errol Spence get in the win column as a promoter of Frank Martin versus the protege of a Bud Crawford? That's the question. All right, man. You guys let me know what you think in the comment section. Big T.O. Heavy Bag. I'm out of here, man. Talk to him, Roger.
Most motherfuckers don't know shit about boxing.